Hello again. Well, as many of you probably know, Joe Tsmarmaev, the Boston bomber, he was sentenced to death for the 2013 attack. I'm going to attach a link. It's on USA Midway. You're not going to have to look for it. Now, there's a number of things that are interesting that many of you probably don't know. And the article that I'm going to attach provides that information, which is where I obtained the information I'm about to relate. Do you know how many people have been executed in the United States since 1988 that are on death row? Well, according to the article, there's 74 people on death row, and three have been executed since 1988. Timothy McVeigh was the first one of them. Now, Massachusetts itself isn't fond of the death penalty. I was 1 year old when Massachusetts last executed someone that was on their death row. That was in 1945. So the chances of Joe Tsmarmaev being put to death by lethal injection, well, it's minimal at best. The likelihood is he will die of old age, natural causes. Now, what's interesting is that the prosecutor in this case came out and said that what Joe Tsmarmaev did wasn't done as a religious act. It was done as a political statement. I guess that sort of gets disputed based on the note that Joe Tsmarmaev left in the boat that he was found in when he praised Allah. But that's a different story. You have to sort of wonder, did I don't know, is it possible that the District Attorney Loretta Lynch put a little pressure on the prosecutor? I don't know. Anything is possible. Remember, the Boston bombing took place as a political statement? That's their contention? I'm inclined not to think so. Take a look at what happened at Fort Hood with Major Nadal Hassan. The truth is, it was never a workplace violence. It was an act of terror by a militant Islamic extremist. The business card that Major Nadal Hassan carried said that he was a soldier of Allah. What more does anyone need to know? Once again, I don't expect that Joe will die of anything other than old age. These trials that we have in the United States, these death penalty trials, what do they accomplish? They're not a deterrent, because those that kill know the chances of them being executed for their crimes are probably better if they were to spend $1 and try to win the state lottery. The chances are probably the same, next to nil. The whole thing's ridiculous. If you have a death penalty, and if someone is convicted and found to be guilty, not by circumstantial evidence, but by a smoking gun in their hand, they need to be executed for their crimes. Otherwise, why have the death penalty? It doesn't make any sense. You take a look at some of the more horrific events that took place in the United States. What happened to those that murdered innocent people? Well, one comes to mind in California, and he's still sitting on death row for having killed his pregnant wife. and his unborn son. He'll sit on death row in all probability for the rest of his life. The whole thing's absurd. The system doesn't work. Scott Peterson needed to be executed a long time ago. You know what it is? It's the legal system doesn't work. The lawyers make a fortune with their appeals that go on for years. And the lawyers are being paid for their services. It's a big shell game. That's really what it is. Scott Peterson has legal representation that is fighting to save his life. And it's a joke, because California won't execute him. There's been 3 that have been executed in the United States since 1988. And all of those that are on death row are having their sentences appealed by their attorneys. So in essence, once they receive legal representation, those lawyers have a retirement plan. The whole thing's a joke. You know where judges come from? Lawyers.